Hello everyone. In this video I'm reviewing the Revolve tool. The Revolve tool is over here. You can find it in the tool menu, Revolve. It's actually quite a powerful tool, but it takes some time to get used to the concept, how it works. Once you understand how it works, it's actually very easy to use it to create tremendous amount of objects. And in SelfCAD specifically, this is quite flexible. So let's get started. I'll start by going to a basic sketch. I'll go to 3D sketch. I have set over here my settings. I've switched over here to precision settings, and I've selected, I guess I have everything for now. I need only grid vertices, maybe profile as well, so I want to snap to it. And I'm going to create here a drawing, very basic. I'm taking, here's the center of the object, I'm walking up by 2, I'm walking out by 2, and you can see it snaps actually. Now I'm walking out 2 and 2 again, so, and I can bring it down 4. So we kind of have just a nice rectangle. Now we're going to go up over here by 2, and I'm going to bring it down to snap on this. Now what I'm trying to do here, Revolve obviously can be used with splines and with quite advanced nice shapes, but I'm trying to create something very basic that it's easy to wrap the head around and to visualize what it's supposed to be happening, what's happening, and really understand how the tool works. So my intention actually now is I want to create an object that will look like this, kind of a small cube, and then another cube over here. This is quite basic. You can just take 2 cubes and make a union, or any other way. That's quite easy, but that's the point. That's easy to visualize and understand what's happening. So I'm going to finalize, but before doing it, the Revolve will actually rotate around, which in this case it will rotate around my z-axis, which means it will actually go underneath the grid. We'll have to push it up, and I wouldn't be able to visualize what I want. I want to visualize this in the height. So in order to get what I'm looking to get, I'll rotate this by -90. So I'm getting it standing up. And this is actually the shape that I intend to get. So I'll just tell you that's not what I'm going to get first. But that will be a good example to explain. And then I'll show how you can actually get this using the Revolve. So another thing before I start is I'm going to check the size and actually scale this, resize this. So, and you'll see later why I want to do that. So I have a size here that is, the height is 300. The height is not going to be changed because once this is standing, this is going to rotate around the Y. So it's kind of going to create the circular pattern around, and it's not going to touch the height. The height will stay the same. The Z-axis is 0 because there's no thickness to this. It's just a profile. So that's, you can actually use Loft with an object, but it will just select a polygon, or you can choose a polygon as well. But that's another subject. The basic use case is always to use a polygon that it's closed. In this case, I would technically need to remove this inside, but I think the Loft tool will be smart enough to know to remove this. But usually you should remove this, and that's quite easy. You just click here, and there it clips automatically, and you can remove it. And it will, but now I actually want to test if I think the Loft tool will remove it. And then it must be closed polygon. If it's not closed, SelfCAD will try to close it for you, which may give you the expected results, and sometimes if it's a more complex shape, it may close it in a way that it's not what you expect. So it's always recommended, the basic default is to have a simple profile closed. But nevertheless, so we have here 0 because there's no thickness. The 300, I said, Y, we're not going to touch that. That should stay the same. This is 200. This I want to make a little smaller, so I'll actually scale it down to 100. And now I'm going to simply go to the Loft, and Revolve. I'm sorry, I keep on confusing Loft and Revolve. And look what we get. That's actually not what I expected to get. What I want to get. I expected to get that, but not what I wanted to get. So I'll show you in a minute how we get this. So actually, first of all, the basic idea for this is having a lot of segments and making them rounded. The basic function from Revolve is always rounding around. So, and then, but I do it using 4 edges because I wanted to create a cubic type of shape. But let's finalize this, or even before finalizing, we can look over here, and if I unhide the profile, you can actually see what's happening. So let's inspect that. So if you see, the profile starts actually flat over here, and then it goes up over here from outside and from the inside, the same thing, and then it takes this part and it comes in from here, and it comes in from this side as well, and it goes up and completes this. So which just means that it takes this entire shape to make it just the thickness of the wall, not both sides of the walls, not the inside, just the thickness. So actually what that means, the thickness is this part, then you need to add double that amount over here, and then again over here, which means it's 3 times the size. So if we had an initial size of 100, I would expect we will now have a size of 300. So let's finalize this and take a look. So if I go back to the size over here, the scale, and you actually see, okay, it's 299.9. That depends on the amount of segments I create. When you create something rounded, if you don't have enough segments, or sometimes it's not even numbers the way it is, it may sometimes round. If I would add more segments, it would be exact 300. Actually, we can give it a try. So if we're going to go to Revolve again, and let's see if I do it to the max. And now we're going to get, you don't have to do it to the max. I think 32 would also work in a basic circle. Depends, it's always different. But now you see we get, the number I reached was kind of like I happen to be a number that will do this in the measurement. And it's hard to know. Sometimes you just have to resize it after you do. And that's not specific to Revolve. It could be many other tools. But you see over here, we got the 300. This became 300 because it's a circular pattern, they're all the same size. So this is 300, and the Y hasn't been touched. Now if I'm going to go undo this one more before I show what else could be done, and I'm going to make this all the way down, let's say not 3, let's make it 4. I'm going to get now this cubic kind of pattern, and the size now would be the same because it thinks about it in a way where it's an angle. Why is it at an angle? Because this is a circular function. So if you have a circle, think about you have a circle around the entire cube, which if it's a circle around, you can have empty space on each of the sides. You can have empty space filling in the circle. So that's basically what you have. And if you position only four segments, it's going to put it in each of the corners because it divides them equally. So if you have a circle, it's going to position one over here, and you visualize now how this is positioned over here. But because it's positioned at an angle, you think about this angle and this angle and this angle. That's the full length of this circle, full radius of the circle. So basically that's how you have the 300. If you would measure it on this side, actually you would have less. We can give it a try. And in this case you should have something like 200 something, maybe 216, something like that. 212 actually. So gotta just check the math, how this is the basically what a cubic shape within a circle is less than a circle on each side. So that's basically what you get over here. But again, this is not what I intended. So this is actually what Revolve is always doing. It takes the edges and it makes it a thickness, which kind of, if you want to make an object with a hole, that's perfect. You can arrange all type of things, and Revolve is used a lot to create kind of cups, glasses, like wine glasses or those type of stuff, because it has a hole inside, and you can just simply take a spline and draw the outside, and just either use like add thickness over here to create the inside part, or manually draw the inside part. You make it a polygon, and then you simply revolve around, you make that shape. Those type of things, it's quite good. But I want to have it now closed, and I want to show how it could be closed. So I'm going to undo this last time now, and I'm going to go to Revolve again, but at this time I'm going to use these tools over here, and these tools basically allows me to squish them together. I can, at some point you can see I'm moving it to one way, and then once it comes to the 0 point where the space is already all the way collapsed, it will start actually going in the other direction. So I want this before it starts going in the other direction, something like this, and I'll finalize it. Now I got what I was looking to get, but this shape actually is not printable, 3D printable yet, because it's self-intersecting. It's difficult. I can play around to get the exact position to make it collapse exactly the inside without self-intersecting. Self-intersecting basically means that one side goes into the other side, and you know, they all kind of mingle together, and that becomes non-printable. In this case, if it's not self-intersecting, I just still have my basic size over here. If I get only one side completely squished together, I should basically have this length of the original 100, because I basically squished all together. So, but I think I haven't done that perfect mushing together. So we have it 80. Actually did it even worse. I did it more than I should have. So instead of having it 300, I have only 80. Actually the size was 200 something, but even the angle, let's take a look at the angle. What I got over here is I got 114 something. So this is kind of squished together. So what I will do, this will definitely not be printable. So if you want to create objects like this and put them together, you simply go to then Magic Fix, and Magic Fix will clean it up for you. It will rebuild the entire object, and then the look should still be the same, but it will be basically, all right, here you go. Now you have this object perfectly fine. You can actually see from this alignments over here where it was intersecting the other pieces, and it created actually in this case quite nice. But yeah, you can play around. That's basically how you create those type of stuff. So again, the loft is kind of just a function that rotates around. It takes the entire shape that you take, and that's just the outside edges, and that's get rotated around. And so you always have to duplicate that plus the inside emptiness plus the other side, but you can play around with this. In the new SelfCAD update, you have an option also to choose revolve around edge, which adds a lot more flexibility, but that also requires more expertise. So for basic use case, that should still be the same. There will just be another option, revolve around edge, so you can do, it's mainly for more advanced things. If you draw some complex profiles, you want to be able to choose the rotation. In this case, it's kind of simple, just rotate around. But if you have a really complex shape, you sometimes want to customize in what direction it rotates besides moving this. And there's actually one thing I said it the last time, but maybe I'll show it once more just to get this point that I forgot to show over here, that you can actually move one side more than the others, and this kind of will create an interesting effects. In this case, it looks like, you know, kind of like a towering effect. And again, whenever you play with those type of things, you will most likely in most of the cases need to do Magic Fix anyways afterwards. But yeah, you could do a lot of interesting things. And yeah, so that's basically it. So let me know if you like it. Please like, subscribe, and let me know what else you want me to explain, and I'll be happy to do so. Thank you, and thanks for watching.